I wonder. Click. Something's not right about 9/11. The official narrative is wrong. It's deceitful. It happened a day after Rumsfeld brought up the fact that we are missing trillions of dollars. So there was going to be an investigation. Everybody got distracted from 9/11 and that kind of just went away. Billions of dollars get poured into Homeland Security and it was created on a fucking lie, you guys. It was created on a deceitful, false flag attack carried out by the globalists. Insane. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching it happen in real time. I'm like, they're not even trying to hide it from us anymore. Oh my God, it blows my mind, dude. So then I wake up the next morning and Facebook, gone. They deleted me completely. They were censoring me the very next day. The First Amendment is dead, you guys. The government has the technology to spread propaganda and misinformation like we've never seen in history. This is legit the Great Reset. It's happening right now. We deserve to know what's really going on. This is the Uncensored Truth. What's up, guys? It's Jeremy with the Uncensored Truth, the podcast designed to free your minds from the grips of the mainstream media by giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the uncensored truth. We are in an information war. I've said this several times before, but I don't think you guys understand how important it is to know that. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you read, everything on television, the news, social media, it's designed to either confuse you, terrify you, or to get you angry at somebody else so that we are fighting and arguing about things. I am a perfect example of that. My last episode was about the moon landing. Whether you guys believe it or not, it doesn't matter. But I uploaded that episode to YouTube, which I haven't done in a while. I uploaded it to YouTube. It has roughly, let's look, you guys. Let's take a look. It has 340 views. Not very much at all. It just, I don't have a lot of people who watch my stuff on YouTube, but it has 340 views, right? I also uploaded the link to that video to Facebook. It has 435 people who have reacted to it. 354 comments, 17 shares, just on the link. More people clicked that they either liked it or hated it than even watched the video. My point is, there are people on social media actively interacting with posts that are controversial, trying to create a fight. There was people on here arguing through the comments, just nonstop. It was entertaining to watch, but people were so angry. And here's the thing. They're not people, man. They are disinformation soldiers, essentially, that are trying to create these problems. Some people would just call them bots. Yeah, they may be actual bots, but the thing is they're there intentionally. Like, it's, like I said, an information war. So there are people there, essentially, social media soldiers that go in there and try to divide people. They have actual they're trolls. They're professional trolls. And so more people were interacting with that video than had actually even watched it. So they don't know what was in the video. They just know, based off the title, was the moon landing a hoax? They don't know if I thought it was or it wasn't. They just went in there, started arguing with people and creating a divide. That is their goal. That is the information war that we are in right now. It's been going on for a long time. We've basically got two different kinds of people right now. We have the people who were around during 9/11, so they kind of get why people do not believe everything they read or hear about, because 9/11 was absolutely not what they're telling us it was. There's something fishy about 9/11, whether it was carried out by the U.S. government, or it's just not the 20 or so people living in caves in the Middle East that they said it was. Something's not right about 9/11. We know that now. The official narrative is wrong. It's deceitful. It happened a day after Rumsfeld brought up the fact that we are missing trillions of dollars. So there was going to be an investigation. Everybody got distracted from 9/11 and that kind of just went away. Not only that, but these crises, COVID, 9/11, JFK assassination, all Pearl Harbor, whatever. All of the fucking January 6th resurrection, insurrection, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a resurrection of bullshit, I'll tell you that. But January 6th, they've actually created a committee to look into it. They've created an organization to make sure it never happens again. This is the type of shit they do. 9/11, we have the Department of Homeland Security. Look at the extra people we have at the airports now, but all of these organizations that were created to make sure something like 9/11 never happens again. And these organizations are no different than NASA. They are literally an organization used to suck in money from the American taxpayers. Billions of dollars get poured into Homeland Security, and it was created on a fucking lie, you guys. It was created on a deceitful, false flag attack carried out by the globalists. And when I'm talking about the globalists, man, in all of my episodes, I bring up the globalists. I bring up the elite. And these are the same people. I had an episode not too long ago that went into like the power structure, the people who run the world. And throughout the years, the physical people have changed, but their bloodlines are the same. They're the same families. They're the same houses. And again, it goes all the way back to almost the beginning of time where we have the Black Nobility. The Vatican, these powerful royal families that are connected to the Vatican, their ancestors were popes and Jesuits. They can be traced back to the Venetian oligarchs of Khazar, the Khazarians. These people married into these royal Roman families way back in, I believe, like the 12th century. It was a long-ass time ago, obviously. Married into these Roman families. If you are a history buff or whatever, Constantine V married a Khazarian princess. They had a kid named Emperor Leo the Khazar, I believe is what he was called. Emperor Leo the Khazar, that's right. He was basically the first known member of the Black Nobility. They continued to marry into different houses, and their bloodlines are all connected because they married into different houses, different powerful names. There was essentially 13 bloodlines or houses. They called them houses back then. So, like my house, the Snyders. My bloodline will be the House of Snyder. Does that make sense? Cool. So these houses are the same as bloodlines, and there was essentially 13 of them or so. Right now, the most important and most powerful bloodline is going to be like the House of Bourbon. Doesn't necessarily mean their last name is Bourbon, because like the Rothschilds, they are bloodlines of the House of Bourbon. You probably heard the name Mayer von Rothschild. He was born under the House of Bourbon. Basically, he started the Rothschild Banking of Naples, I believe is what it's called. But basically started this banking organization, probably a central bank, if I am to be correct here. I think it was a central bank, but he started this banking cabal. He lent the Vatican $5 million. So now the Vatican, since then, has been basically under the power of the Rothschilds or the House of Bourbon. So since then, the Rothschilds have essentially been agents of the Vatican. It's widely believed that the Rothschilds also lent money to the royal family, so the royal family is at their beck and call. So they basically run them as well. Rothschilds probably run the world for the most part, but again, when we talk about these 13 houses or 13 original bloodlines, their names have changed. They've also married into other names. That's why there's several names now. So you've got Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bushes. Most of these people in power, most of these people, these elite, rich motherfuckers, come from one of these royal bloodlines, come from one of these Black Nobility bloodlines. Not every single rich person in the world, not every single billionaire, but most of them can be traced back to the lineage of the Black Nobility bloodlines, these 13 houses, essentially. I will have an episode where I go into that stuff in detail because it's fucking very interesting, especially when we can link back all of the Obama, the Bushes, Trump in a way, Mark Zuckerberg, basically almost everybody can be linked back one way or another to these royal houses. And I'll have an episode where I go into detail on that. I would love to get a guest on to help me out with that. Amy says WTF. I would suggest just going to her channel. She's only on BitChute now, but Amy says WTF. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and just type that in and listen to some podcasts that she's been guests on. I would love to have her on. She doesn't have a YouTube. She doesn't have any social media because she's been deleted, which is normal for something like this. But she's very, very educated on this subject. This is like her main subject. It's her favorite subject. It is one of mine as well because it's very interesting. But she knows a ton of shit. That's where I get a lot of my information from. I would love to have her on this show. I've tried to reach out, but I don't know how to get a hold of her because all of her social media is gone. So I've reached out to people whose shows she's been on to try and get a hold of her, and maybe one day that'd be awesome. But I'll have an episode where I go into details on the bloodlines, lineages, how each wealthy elite motherfucker these days can be traced back to that stuff. But for now, I just kind of want to let you know who it is. It's the Rothschilds. It's the Black Nobility. It's these elites. These same bloodlines are the ones who are carrying out this information war that we're in. And it's insane, man. They're doing it because it's powerful. It works. It was created by these same group of people. The people who created NASA. Another descendant of the Black Nobility, man. So when I attack one of their organizations that's embezzling trillions of dollars, they're going to send their information soldiers to try to discredit everything that I say. They do it on posts all the time. Anytime you talk about the election, not the 2016 election, but the 2020 election. Anytime you talk about COVID, anytime you talk about the vaccines, you get attacked from every direction. You'll get censored by big tech. Big tech, a information arm of the Black Nobility. These people have got their claws in everything, and they make sure that you only know, think, and act and see and feel exactly how they want you to feel. They manipulate you so easily through social media, through the news. Everything that's reported is designed to either terrify you or to upset you. There's never anything good that happens, man. Race, global warming, and a new variant. I mean, what's his name? President Houseplant O'Biden, deputy douchebag, came out and said, COVID's done, guys. He was on 60 Minutes, I believe. COVID's done. No more COVID. So why are we still pushing the vaccines? If COVID is done, why are we still pushing the vaccines? Why did we in the first place? Do you guys understand this information war that I'm talking about? This is what I mean. And this is what I mean by pushing fear. We just went through a 2 or 3 year pandemic. COVID-19, coronavirus. It came out. It had a 99.997 or 99.7 even chance of survival. That means you're going to be okay. That means you're probably going to survive. The only reason it wasn't 100% is because you just don't know. It's kind of like when they come out with a product that kills 99% of bacteria. The only reason they don't do 100% is because if for some reason you use it and there's a tiny piece of bacteria still alive, that's false advertisement. So there is a coronavirus that comes out. People everywhere are terrified. They're in a panic. We shut down the country, dude. And the only people that were dying were old people. The average life expectancy of a human is like right around 80. The average age of those who died of coronavirus, right around 80. I think it was slightly older. So you actually had a longer life if it was coronavirus that took you out in some instances. Yeah, there were still people that died of coronavirus. It's because they labeled it as coronavirus. But here's one thing that the news, these disinformation soldiers, this is one thing they will not tell you. One thing you will not hear on the news. One thing that is very hard to find on social media. That is, once you went to the hospital with coronavirus, your chances of dying went up huge because their protocols brought down from the same people, these Black Nobility. These doctors aren't murderers. No, they're negligent. They are naive. They are responsible for your death because of the fact that They could have just done a little bit of research and then refused to take on the protocol that was given to them from the WHO or the CDC or whoever the fuck told them what to do. These are doctors, the smartest people in the world. They should have known how to treat this. And instead, they just took the protocol that was handed to them. Okay, if anybody comes in here, let's just put them on remdesivir and see what happens. Remdesivir was killing people. Remdesivir, the only study they really had on remdesivir was the Ebola research, and over 50% of the people that got put on remdesivir died. So it was clearly a bad treatment. Something was wrong with it. Like I told you guys before, they would take remdesivir, their organs would slowly shut down, their body would fill up with fluid, and they would die. Something that is very bad for you, especially if you have a respiratory disease. You cannot let your lungs fill up with fluid, you guys. That is the opposite of treatment. That is sabotage. They intentionally were killing people. Not the doctors. They were just following protocol. There were several doctors that came out and said, hey, listen, remdesivir is bad for you. This is not a good treatment. People are going to be harmed from this. And it happened. They were harmed, absolutely. They had doctors that came out and tried to tell people about ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamin C, vitamin D3, quercetin, all of these things. And these doctors were demonized. They were taken off of social media. They were deplatformed because they didn't want them to know about these 25-cent remedies. No, they wanted you to take remdesivir, which was thousands of dollars you had to pay to get treated with remdesivir. And then you probably were going to die. Not everybody, but I mean, people have long-term effects from remdesivir. There's people who have a hard time breathing today because of the effects that remdesivir had on their body. Not only that, but they roll out these vaccines. And I'm not gonna get into it because it's gonna get this video deleted. But let's just call them the ding-dongs. How about that? Let me call it a ding-dong. You have people taking these ding-dongs, following it up with multiple ding-dongs afterwards, and now you have a ton of people who are sick. You have sudden adult death syndrome all of a sudden. Something that has never been around in history, and now all of a sudden it's a thing. It's one of the leading causes of death right now. Young adults who are completely healthy just collapsing and dying. No. No, thank you. But these disinformation soldiers out there are going to tell you that this is normal. It's all over social media. You have a ton of people who have died after getting the ding-dong, and they're hiding it from you. You won't see it on the news, man. Immune systems are completely fucking shot right now. People out there who have taken the full ding-dong protocol, their immune systems are shot. They have antibody-dependent enhancement. They're immunocompromised, man. They weren't before, and now they get sick from the cold or whatever, and their immune system is struggling to take care of them. I see it in my own personal life with certain people, and it's happening all around the U.S. right now. And if you want to get deeper than that, there's people who believe that at a moment's notice, a switch can get flipped, and we are going to see a ton of people gone, just getting wiped out because of this wicked technology that's in them. Not going to get into it because, again, it's going to get me deplatformed. It's going to get me taken off of everything, and this probably was enough. Saying what I said now is probably enough, but my point is, we're in the middle of an information war. The times are so insane right now. It's not like it used to be where you could look at both sides and make up your mind on your own. They only give you one side, and if the other side comes out, they just basically say, no, those guys are racist. They're white supremacists. Don't listen to them. And people are like, oh, okay. They wouldn't lie to me. Why would they lie to me? That's how it is. You're being lied to every single day by the mainstream media. Stop watching the news. Stop watching CNN. Stop watching MSNBC. If there's something out there that doesn't make much sense to you, then you need to research that subject, and you have to, for example, the election. If you do not believe that the election was legit, then what you need to do is you need to research that. Everything that's going to pop up right away is going to be, yes, the election was legit. If you think otherwise, you're a conspiracy theorist and whatever, just debunking it immediately. But what you need to do is you need to look at both sides. You actually have to, and it's hard to find the information to the contrary, but you need to find that information. You need to find the people out there who believe that the election was rigged. look at what they have to say, compare that to what the people are saying about the election being legit, and compare that information. Just come up with a decision on your own as to who you believe. I'll tell you what, one side's going to be filled with facts, data, and proof. The other side is just going to be words, man. The other side is going to be, it was blah, 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 and if you think otherwise, you're crazy. It's going to shame you. It happened during 9/11, man. Most people out there were too young to know what happened during 9/11, or you weren't born yet, whatever, I don't know. Depends on what generation you are. Either that or you were 10, 12, 13 years old and you just didn't care enough to be interested in what happened, to be hooked. So during 9/11, everybody came together. Everybody loved America. It was like, if you're not for America, you are a piece of shit, and they would shame you. Like, if you weren't for going to war and killing millions of people, you weren't American, man. And so they shamed you. Basically what they do now. They shamed you. If you do not get vaccinated, you are going to be shamed. They terrified you into getting vaccinated from a virus that had a 99.97 survival rating. Like, you weren't going to die from COVID, yet they made you get vaccinated anyways. Do you not think that's crazy? It is crazy. Why? We got to figure out why. Here's the thing. It's come out now that it was bullshit. People were getting hurt from it. And even COVID itself was very survivable if you just took the right treatment. And it's not the treatment that the doctors were giving you. It's the treatment that heroic doctors that did research and spoke out about the atrocities that were going on. It's those treatments that would have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. What, 1 million people died in the US, they say, because of COVID? I would say at least half, if not 90% of those people would have been saved if they would have just gotten better treatment, earlier treatment. My point is, we're in an information war and we're being attacked by the globalists. These are the people who have been trying to implement the New World Order for a long time. Their original hopes were to have us under this New World Order by the year 2000. Well, they're running a little behind. They're in overdrive right now trying to push this shit through. That is what's happening right now. Every facet of our lives, everything that's happening is happening to get us one step closer to the New World Order. If you've done any research or you know anything about the New World Order, you know it's the Great Reset. It's been rebranded as the Great Reset. They've been talking about it up at Davos, the World Economic Forum, and its people, these Black Nobility, these world leaders, these same bloodlines that I was talking about, have been going to these World Economic Forum meetings where they're talking about the Great Reset. Every step of this Great Reset that they're talking about is being laid out right now. It used to be a conspiracy theory. People used to be known as just being paranoid. Oh, they're not going to do that. They can't do that. None of that makes sense. It's actually happening, you guys. It's a real thing. COVID allowed them to push forward this Great Reset. But here's the thing. The only way that it could happen is if there was a complete economic collapse. The economy's in the shit, dude. Inflation's super high. A ton of people lost jobs. Yeah, it's getting better, but no. The US dollar is worth nothing. And now they're essentially going to go to this central bank digital currency, CBDC. And if you know anything about the Great Reset, you know that had to happen. That was part of it. There needed to be this digital currency that we were on. The reason why we need it to be a digital currency is so that the globalists can cut us off at a moment's notice. They have this social credit system they want people on. It's not a credit system that tells whether or not you can pay your bills, or if you're going to pay your bills on time, or how likely you are to pay your bills, credit system. No, this is a social credit system. This is how you act. Are you likely to fall right in line and do exactly as you're told? If you are on a higher tier. You're allowed to do more things. You don't get your digital currency cut off. And the technology is real. It exists. The credit system exists. It's in China right now. It's going to come here. You'll hear them talking about it soon. It's going to be implemented in some of these, probably California. They'll start implementing it. Canada for sure will see it first. These extreme leftist states are going to implement this shit first. And when they do, you will see what I'm talking about. The social credit system is going to be put into play. The digital currency is already happening. Biden signed executive order, blah, 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 whatever number it was, but it's going to take place December 13th. Doesn't necessarily mean that's when we'll switch to a digital currency, but it'll be implemented. It'll start rolling it out at that point. What they're going to do with our existing money, I do not know. That's what I'm worried about, but we'll see, I guess. And then once they have this social credit system in place, they will be able to cut you off. If you do not do, act, say, think exactly how they want you to, they can cut you off from the digital currency that is now your pay, your income. Then, they've even, and in some places, they've already started talking about this. It is a guaranteed future income. Each family will get the same guaranteed income. They tried to do it during COVID, where they were giving you money. And I wouldn't be surprised now, that money you got, these COVID stimulus checks, I wouldn't be surprised if in the fine print there were strings attached to that money, man. They're going to be like, you received money from the government, so you have to do this. And just don't be surprised if you see some shit like that happening, but it's gonna be the same thing, essentially. They're gonna start handing out this money like it's nothing. Of course, those living in poverty are gonna love it because they're gonna be able to get a guaranteed income. Everything that they need will be paid for. It sounds great, but not for those who have worked extremely hard to rise above the middle class, those doing well for themselves. Most of you are probably like, Jeremy's so paranoid, all this shit he's making up. It's whatever. Just call it bullshit now, but do not be surprised when you see this stuff rolling out in the future. Have I even talked about anything in this episode, man? What have I talked about? For real. I've just come on here and I wanted to stay away from these social issues like COVID, vaccine, election, politics. I just wanted to focus more on the conspiracy theories, the entertainment facet of this, and the entertainment aspect of this, whatever. And after releasing that last episode on the moon landing, people just went nuts. It was crazy. You can't even have a normal conversation with people like that without these information soldiers coming out and attacking you and making you look stupid. Thank you for those that follow me on my Facebook page that are cool. Like, you guys came to my defense. I tried to argue a little bit with people, but most people are just so blind and so stubborn that they can't think anything other than what is already pre-programmed in their brains. So when you try to discuss that shit with them, they're like, the moon landing, of course it was real. There's no way they faked it. They brought back moon rocks. Oh, you think those are fake? Yeah, actually. They admitted they were fake. They admitted that they were petrified fucking wood, people. Oh, not all of them. Some of them were, but not all of them. Well, why were some of them? Huh? Because the ones they brought back from the moon mission were fake. Since they've sent unmanned probes to the moon, maybe, these missions that didn't have men on board and probably picked up space rocks and brought them back, I don't know. Maybe they did. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it was a fucking asteroid. Who knows? But we didn't send people to the moon back in the 60s. Did not happen. Early 70s, no way. But people just can't think about it. They can't think, oh gosh, absolutely. You're so crazy, Jeremy. Why would you think it was fake? We have photos. Are you talking about the fake photos? Oh, I knew you were going to say they were fake. Well, I'm not the only one who says they're fake. The people who went to the moon, the people who run NASA say they're fake. It's just, people are dumb. They can't think otherwise. They just, because of the fact that it means that they were probably wrong. They're so invested in the lie that they cannot admit that it's a lie. It's easier to fool someone than it is to convince them they've been fooled. Is that how it goes? I can't remember. I mean, think about how big that would be if people found out we didn't go to the moon. That's a lie. That would basically bring down everything, because it's the same people who carried out those moon missions that killed John F. Kennedy, that created almost every single war we've ever been to. the fucking Vietnam War did not need to happen at all. So many wars have been created because of false flags, because of fake information that was put out by these globalists so that we could go to war. You have no idea how much money the globalists make when we go to war. The military-industrial complex, these defense contractors that are owned by the same fucking globalists, owned by these Black Nobility bloodlines, they make billions, trillions of dollars when we go to war because they're basically creating weapons for both sides. And it's just, there are false flags that happen all the time that cause wars. And 9/11 was one of them. The Vietnam War, our involvement in the Vietnam War was another one. The Gulf of Tonkin. I don't know if you guys have ever researched this. I had an episode on this a while ago. Also known as the USS Maddox incident. It happened in the waters of the Gulf of Tonkin. That's why they call it the Gulf of Tonkin. But this incident happened. They made people, the world, believe that we were fired on by these Vietnamese ships. So then we went into the Vietnam War. Now, how many people died during this war? It's believed that there was like 800,000 Vietnamese deaths, anywhere between 800,000 and a million, and then like 65,000 American deaths. But it happened for no reason whatsoever. So classified documents were open from the JFK assassination, and after looking into that, they found out that these Vietnamese ships were monitoring the USS Maddox because it was patrolling these waters, getting close to, I don't know if it was neutral territory or their territory, whatever, but without warning and for no reason whatsoever, the USS Maddox fired on these Vietnamese ships. They were warning shots is what they called. They didn't hit the ships. They just fired these warning shots. Well, they were like, what the fuck, man? They were startled. They were worried. They didn't know what the hell was going on. So they fired back. And I think they fired torpedoes. I don't know if they did it as a warning as well. Machine gun fire or whatever. But then the Maddox basically unloaded on them. Just fucking rounds after rounds, just machine gun fire, torpedoes. I don't know. What I do know is I believe like 6 Vietnamese were killed during this. And then maybe 3 Vietnamese were killed and 6 were wounded. I can't remember the total or the actual numbers, but I know that there were 0 U.S. casualties. And in fact, they said that the USS Maddox took on severe damage. Well, afterwards they found out there was a single bullet hole to the ship. 1 bullet hole. That was all the damage that they had. So essentially, we went to Vietnam because of 1 fucking bullet hole, and it was something that was instigated by us in the first place. So they wanted to go to Vietnam, and it was completely fucking pointless. But I'll tell you what, the military-industrial complex made billions. The globalists, the Black Nobility bloodlines made billions. Mission accomplished, man. That's all they wanted, and it worked. They were able to go to war, make it seem somewhat justified, and then make billions. That's what they do. It's an information war. They lied to us. Now people just don't fucking care to know the truth. They think it's just normal, but they lied to us in order to send our brothers and sisters to war so they could make money. These globalists, they're the same motherfuckers that did COVID. They're the same motherfuckers that did 9/11. All of this is being carried out by the same people. We weren't attacked on 9/11 by random homeless people hanging out in caves. No. It was the Black Nobility, the Rothschilds, the House of Bourbon, the Council on Foreign Relations, the United Nations. They're all the same people. They're just different militarized branches of these, the House of Bourbon, of these bloodlines, these globalists. Anyways, man, I don't know. This is probably a shitty episode. I say that every episode. I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I hope it wasn't too weird, but I'll get back into conspiracies or something. You know, leave a comment under this video or comment on the podcast itself, and just let me know what you guys would like to hear about. If I can get something within the first couple days here, maybe by this weekend, then I will make that my subject matter, and we can talk about that conspiracy, something that interests you guys. So let me make this next episode for you. Give me an idea. I'll pick one. I'll give you a shout out during the episode saying, hey, so-and-so wanted me to talk about this, so here we go. I'm mildly educated on almost every conspiracy theory out there, so if there's one that you'd like to know about or one that fascinates you, please let me know and I'll talk about it. And if you're very well educated on one of these conspiracy theories, give me your contact information, man. Send me a DM or something so that I can contact you and I'll have you on the show maybe. How about that? Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share, like, leave a 5-star review on the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and my video platforms are kind of YouTube, but it's mainly BitChute and Rumble. So please subscribe to my channel there and help us get the truth out there for real. And again, I want to remind you that I also have Truth Media 605. That is going to be more about the political issues, these social issues. I'm going to talk about the news. I'm still getting that going. That's why I haven't started it yet. I will soon, and when I do, I'll release episodes often. May not be very long, but they'll basically just be the news of the day that I'll talk about and give you my opinion on them, my analysis, if you will. So yeah, I've got social media accounts for Truth Media 605. Maybe go there, TM 605 or Truth Media 605, one of them. But go there, start following me, and help get the truth out there. That's all I can ask, people. So thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep your eyes open because there's some shit going on. See ya.